Hello, and welcome to this episode of Video Marketing for Startups. I'm your host, Renee Teeley, and joining me today is David Spark, the founder of Spark Media Solutions. And today we're talking all about what B2B companies are doing wrong in their video marketing. All that and more coming up right after this. So in terms of video marketing, I think there are some companies that are doing it well, but there are a lot of companies that are just getting started and are really struggling.
By the way, I would say there are companies that are not just getting started, but still struggling, actually.
Yes, absolutely. So you recently wrote a guide about this specific topic.
Yes.
B2B companies and what they're doing wrong,
and
maybe
right.
what they're doing right.
I do a lot of work with B2B tech companies. That's kind of my focus for my business. A good 2/3 of our work is video. So I was constantly stumbling across other companies where I thought their work was okay to horrible. And I was like, oh, geez, I'd love to come in and do this. But, they always say, well, we hired an in-house guy and they're going to do it. But there's so much more. This is the big thing. There's so much to video marketing, to online video beyond the production. And there's probably a lot more, but I had isolated it to over 50 little variables that you need to manage. Trying to manage all of those and produce a video on top of it is not easy. Companies spend a fortune in branding, just in general. Forget about video. It is astounding. All that money and all that effort that they put into branding kind of goes out the window when it comes to video. It blows my mind how they will not adhere to brand standards. Mm-hmm. Will have current videos that have completely different video templates on it, or they will also produce very shoddy videos that are not to the level of their corporate brand.
So what I found with some companies is that they'll spend a lot of money to produce a couple of very high quality videos, and then the rest of their videos are very low quality, poor lighting, bad audio, and they get a few views on YouTube. But they spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on the big videos. Have you found this to be the case as well?
Especially if you look on a company's Facebook channel, they'll have a lot of cell phone videos that are shot that are just thrown up there. They really need to pay strong attention to YouTube. YouTube is pretty much capturing 25%, a little more actually, a quarter of all search, period. All search. Through Google, that is, which has like 90% of all search. Companies should be spending about 25% of their marketing and search and social media budget on video. 25%. My main argument with many of these companies is they're producing for themselves, not the audience. What's the video we want to see? Not what's the video our audience wants to see. We want to see a video telling everyone how wonderful this product is. We want to see a customer testimonial video. We want to see ourselves on camera. That's what they're doing. They're not taking the moment and literally researching the audience. What do they want to consume? What do they want? I never get the sense that that's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that in terms of company videos, the thing that I recommend to companies is before you start your production, figure out what are the business goals that you're trying to achieve. So that is number one. You have to, keep the company in mind, but the business goal that you're trying to achieve is typically revenue or get more customers. And the way that you do that is that you show that you care about the customer. What are their pain points? What do they need? And you create content that helps them in some way.
I agree, but here I've recently developed a new philosophy on this, and hear me out on this, because that's the common philosophy.
Okay.
My philosophy is forget about your company and your product for now. Your number one goal at the beginning with any content effort is to build audience. Period. That's relevant to your space. Not just build some generic audience, but build audience relevant to your space. If you don't focus on the audience first, and you just focus on, your product, whatever, then you're fighting a battle with each piece of content. How do I get the audience for this one? How do I get the audience for this one? But if you spend the first part of your effort just building audience, and you'll always have to build audience, but really only focus on that, then everything comes so much easier.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I think when I'm talking about business goals, the goal could simply be to build brand awareness in some way and to get your name out there. It's exactly what I'm doing with this series. And so it doesn't need to be company centric, the actual content, but there should be some goal behind it. And for something like that, to me, it feels like brand awareness. And so you're really building up credibility in the industry. And then you can actually do something with that audience.
Right. Once you build credibility, once you build trust, then you can say, hey, by the way, guys, I'm now about to sell this thing and I would love it. You know, you've been so supportive of me and you've been so appreciative of the stuff I'm doing. Would you be interested in this?
So let's talk about some of the other things that B2B companies are doing wrong in video marketing.
In video marketing,
yeah.
There are certain things that they don't realize that their YouTube page is a landing page that a lot of people pay attention to, and they don't manage it properly. And I would say the absolute number one thing all companies could do right now, even though after they've produced all their videos, is go through all their videos and design custom thumbnails for them. You wouldn't believe, I can't remember the stat, but it's about 10% actually do it. When you look at a page that's been done with custom thumbnails versus one that's not, it's like night and day. And you think about the millions that is spent on their website and the few thousands it would take to fix all those thumbnails on the site. I mean, it's a complete no-brainer.
Yeah.
Just go through, redesign it, and it's something you could do to give yourself a facelift, and it would actually help drive more traffic, make it look better. Just make custom thumbnails and brand them consistently across. No one's going to watch your video unless you market it correctly. So you have to work on the title. That's the other thing, work on the title and the thumbnail. That is your gateway to viewing. Yep. Thumbnail and title, period. But also don't just look at YouTube. I'm personally having a lot of success with LinkedIn video. Actually, way more than YouTube. In fact, I actually have minimal success with YouTube. I have way more success with LinkedIn. The thing, though, I need to do that I have not done, which I have found is the success model for LinkedIn is, and heck, it's the success model for YouTube too, is video every day. It's so hard. You got to figure out a production model of video every day. If you want to grow like mad, video every day. The other thing is, and I'm going to say mea culpa because I haven't done this yet myself, but when people land on a YouTube page, the really successful creators have that video that auto plays when you land, which, by the way, is the one place that an autoplay video is welcome, unlike most people can't stand them and like, how do I turn this thing off? What they do almost all universally is just dump the latest highly produced commercial there, rather than, hello, David Spark, welcome to my YouTube page. This is what you're going to see if you subscribe. You know, you should subscribe. All it takes is a 30 to 60 second video. It could be an employee of the company just looking into the camera, explaining what the channel is, and that's it.
So for companies that are just getting started with video marketing, I know we're talking about, you know, what a lot of companies are doing wrong, but for the companies that are just getting started, what are some of your top tips that they should focus on? So
number one is first find out what everyone's obsessed with. Don't just think, oh, I have a great idea, I'll make content around it and I hope somebody's going to come to it. Find what the obsession is first, whatever it is in your industry. Then think about what your take is going to be on it, what that is. Second, think about creating content in a series. That's the other big thing companies don't do. They do not commit to content in series. They do not commit to building relationship with the audience. You know, they don't do anything with their subscribers, which blows my mind. They don't really reach out to them.
In terms of getting people to engage with your content, I found that it's harder for B2B companies to do this rather than B2C companies. But do you have some tips for getting people to actually engage with your content if you're a B2B company?
This is what I've done. And I've done on LinkedIn. I got heavy engagement as a result. So the way I do my videos on LinkedIn is I actually write an article about the topic and I publish it. And I get a lot of comments on the article. I then produce a video where I highlight my favorite comments to the article. So I'm creating content that is enveloped of their content. So what happens, they realize this cycle happens that if I give a good comment, it appears in a video later on. And so that cycle has worked, actually has benefited me and the audience really well. You know, to just say, hey, leave a comment, we'd love to hear from you. That's not an enticement. If you hit a nerve on a topic they like, and these articles turned out to hit nerves on people obsessed about, then they'll talk, they'll comment about it. And if I will also throw out, if you like, one of my articles didn't have enough good comments and I had to make a video and I needed like another 2 good comments. So I just reached out to a couple of friends and I said, hey, I need to make this video, you know, to beef it out. Can you leave a couple of comments and I'll use that in the video? And that worked out great. So if you're fearing that you can't do this because you don't think everyone's going to leave comments, just ask your friends to help you out a little bit. They'll leave something, then you can, create a video around it.
All right. So any key kind of things that you want to leave the audience with?
Don't try to bite off too much than you can chew, because as you know and I know, video production is time consuming. And the other thing, realize that your very first 1, 2, 3 videos will take you forever to produce. You'll think, how does someone do this so fast? Understand at the beginning, you make endless mistakes.
Absolutely.
And you move slowly, and it looks like crap at the beginning. Actually, you know what my number one tip is for video production? If you're really, really green, you know nothing, make home movies. This is how I learned. I made movies of my nephew and my nieces at the time before I had my own kids, and they were horrible. But this is what's great about doing that, is that your audience, my family, will love them no matter how bad they are. So it's nice to have an appreciative audience for crappy content.
Yes.
And that's what you get.
That's fantastic. I really like the tip of using your family for videos too, because everyone fails in the beginning. I think it definitely takes a lot of practice, but you're failing in a non-public way.
But with an appreciative audience. That's a key thing. And those videos,
very encouraging audience.
Those videos still exist, and they have star wipes in them. I'll just tell you, they do.
So good.
Those exist. Because, I was new to video. And, hey, this is cool. What's this do?
Great. Well, I really appreciate you talking with me about all of these tips. I think
Renee, it's awesome to see you at VidCon.
Oh, thank you.
I'm running into so many cool people that I've known through this whole production space, and it's so great to run into you and everybody else. It's awesome.
I mentioned this before we started the video, but this is my first time at VidCon, and
my first as well.
I felt like I was too old to come to VidCon.
I want to point out I'm considerably older than you, Renee.
So we may both be a little too old for VidCon, but I'm going to backtrack that a little bit because I've run into some amazing industry people and people I've known for many, many years. I'm so happy to be here. It's great to run into you as well. So really thank you for all of the tips. Thank you for watching this episode of Video Marketing for Startups. If you haven't done so already, I highly recommend that you subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on LinkedIn for amazing tips just like this to help you with video marketing for your business. Thanks again.